Hi guys, and welcome to your weekly horoscope. This one is for Monday the 25th of September going through until Sunday the 1st of October 2023. Thanks for joining me. It's a pleasure to be with you today. I'm outside in the park again. This has quickly become my favorite park in the city. I love it. I've only been here 3 or 4 times, but it's great. It's like up the hill. So from my place, it's a 20-minute walk up the hill, and then when you get here, you have this great sense of accomplishment. I've made it. So I really like this park. I'm making the most of the weather. Things have really cooled down, so a few more times hopefully. And then the other great thing is that I got my spot. Last week there were people doing yoga here, so I get to film where I want, so that's great. Okay, so in these weekly horoscopes, what I do is I go through each day of the week to see how the planets interact with each other, what energy that brings up. And the point of the horoscopes then is to try and get a sense of that energy so you can make the most of all the good stuff, the positives, and avoid some of the potential pitfalls or challenges. Now this week is really interesting because it kind of goes in twos. When I was looking at this earlier, I feel that Monday and Tuesday are very much about the intellect and making sense of things analytically. Wednesday, Thursday are much more about your heart and feeling and connecting and loving and being creative. Friday and Saturday, that's where I think the conflict is. And it's a weird kind of connection between you and other people where there's lots of room for misunderstanding. And then finally, Sunday, I think, is very much about rest and trying to kind of gather yourself after the week that you've just had here. Okay, so I'm going to go through each day. Monday, the 25th of September, we've got the moon in Aquarius. The moon is your heart. So with the moon being in Aquarius, the sign of the water bearer, and it's associated with the humanitarian. Even though it is the water bearer, it's actually an air sign, so it has to do with communication and invention and science and teaching and learning. And with the moon being in that placement at the beginning of the week, that's what you're connected to. So what are my new ideas? What would make sense? What would help other people? What can I teach? Where's their value that I can impart? So the Aquarius moon squares Jupiter and Taurus. Jupiter is the lucky planet and it's the biggest planet in our solar system. It makes everything bigger, right? So with this connection between the moon in Aquarius and Jupiter in Taurus, you have a huge amount of new ideas, and they're practical ideas because Taurus is an earth sign, it's fixed, and it's really ideas that have to do with how can I take charge of a situation and control it for my benefit. The Aquarius moon then sextiles Chiron in Aries. So what about me? What about me? What ideas can I have that are going to help me? It quincunxes Mercury in Virgo, so that's really nice. Mercury is the communication planet and it rules Virgo, so it's very comfortable in that setting. And Mercury in Virgo loves information, and the more the better. It likes to learn everything, to absorb everything in order to make sense of it and to come up with answers. Mercury in Virgo likes feeling like the expert. It likes to know what's going on. Mercury in Virgo then trines Jupiter in Taurus. So again, we've got another planet forming a relationship with the lucky outer planet Jupiter. So we've got the Aquarius moon giving you all of these wonderful ideas, and then Mercury in Virgo helping you to make sense of them and to really get practical with these ideas and to say, well, okay, but what are we really going to do with this on Monday? So if you're an inventor or an educator, or you need to use your ideas and your intellect to make sense of things, Monday is the day to do it. And the reason for that is because of all these influences, you're massively switched on intellectually. And you can make sense of things quickly and easily. No mess, no fuss. So you got a computer brain on Monday, I've put down here. So use this day to clear up any backlog, to do any paperwork, to get things organized, to have discussions which are formal and sensitive. Your ability to create order and structure will open the way for a new opportunity to come into your life. So that's interesting because, okay, so I've sorted out the closet, I've organized everything. I didn't realize this opportunity was going to come out of that work. That's the kind of opportunity I mean. Something where you really take charge of things, and then an opportunity appears that you wouldn't have seen unless you'd done the work. Tuesday, so there is a rhyme and reason and a value to order and organization here on Monday. On Tuesday, the 26th of September, we have the moon still in Aquarius. So big idea is how can I use information to heal the planet almost. That's in its largest sense influenced by Jupiter. So the Aquarius moon now opposes Venus in Leo on Tuesday. That's interesting because Leo and Aquarius are on the same axis, right? And they're both about the public. Leo is, I'm in the spotlight as the leader, as the entertainer, as the boss. And I'm doing that because I'm really talented and able and qualified, and I can take these people and shift them in this direction. Aquarius is also the public, but it's very selfless in comparison to what I just said. Aquarius is, okay, I'm just a vessel, I'm a facilitator, I've got these wonderful ideas, I'm the intermediary between all these people who I'm going to teach this to and the idea. And it's really nothing about me, I'm just like making this information available. So that access, what they have in common is the public. So any ideas that you receive from the public or any ideas that you want to insert into the public sphere, that's really what this opposition does. And Venus in Leo likes the limelight. Venus is the planet of love and beauty and creativity, and in Leo she's center stage. She's like, hear me sing and give me a round of applause and accolades and flowers and well done me. So both of these opposing each other creates a friction that's unresolved. So if you need to present ideas, or if you want to just present yourself, oh my God, look at me, how talented and wonderful I am, Tuesday is the day to do it. It then squares Uranus in Taurus, anything is possible, and it trines Mars in Libra and sextiles Chiron in Aries. So Mars in Libra is interesting because the two personal planets, Venus and Mars, are doing a switcheroo at the moment, right? Mars rules Aries, which is fire, and it's in Libra, that sign's opposite, in an air sign where it's forced to compromise. And Venus rules Libra and Taurus, but that's now in a fire sign, Leo, and the two have kind of switched it around. So instead of Venus being either in air or earth, it's now Mars that's in an air sign and Venus is in a fire sign. So it's kind of opposite day. It's being motivated in a completely different kind of manner. So Mars in Libra fundamentally is drive and your ambition, right? And in Libra, it kind of prompts you to ingratiate yourself with other people and to fit in and to connect. But the sense I get here on Tuesday with Venus being in Leo, look at me, I'm the singer, I'm the star. It's almost like I want to insert myself into a group of people. I want to get into this institution. So if there's anything that requires you getting your kind of foot in the door and kind of being a bit pushy to make yourself known, Tuesday is the way to do it. Because you believe in the content that you're trying to articulate. You believe in yourself. You have this sense of anything is possible and I want to get in here. I belong here. The Aquarius moon also sextiles Chiron in Aries, so it's self-will and how I can work in connection with other people, together with other people, and how I can really create or get into a team or a community here, a breakthrough. Okay, so on Tuesday, innovative ideas and accurate insights, they continue via that Aquarius moon. There's an interesting contradiction between Venus and Mars, which I mentioned. So it's kind of because Mars is ambition and Venus is creativity and the drive to express, it's both are kind of just pushing you in a different direction, so the outcome can be very different. So instead of, rather than pursuing my interest, I'm kind of looking at how I can get my interest into the discussion here with all these other people. And instead of creating independently, I'm out there doing it and presenting and sharing. What's interesting here is that on Tuesday, you may choose the collective over your own concerns, and you may be overly focused on other people as a result of the switcheroo, right? So if you find yourself becoming obsessively stuck on one thing about another person, so for instance, you find yourself picking at someone, that means you've gone off track, and refocus and find a way of using your own initiative creatively. And be aware of this marker post that you've gone the wrong way, is if you start to think about other people, their ideas, their beliefs too much, and it takes you away from your own creative work. So it's a tricky day, Tuesday, but you can manage and balance it. On Wednesday, the 27th of September, we've got the moon going into Pisces at 18 minutes past 2 in the morning. So the moon going into Pisces is very different to Aquarius. Pisces is much more about, I accept things the way they are. It's not my job to innovate and to make a contribution. It's my job to understand and to connect and to accept. So things calm down, you go into the emotional side of things. That's what I mentioned at the beginning here. The intellect, Monday, Tuesday is via that Aquarius moon, and your own intuition and your gut feeling is heightened here Wednesday, Thursday by the moon being in Pisces. The Pisces moon then opposes Mercury in Virgo, so I'm not so interested in the details. What I'm interested in are my feelings. It conjunct Saturn in Pisces. That's because my feelings are real. Feelings are... What's that thing they always say? There's one of these trendy kind of expressions. My feelings are facts. They're not just feelings, they're the truth. It sextiles Jupiter in Taurus, so that makes everything bigger. So it's kind of like water and earth now. So I feel hugely influenced by my environment and by other people and what's going on in my life. And it quincunxes the sun in Libra. But the good news is that I'm not sinking into my own emotional abyss here. I've still got other people to connect to as a kind of lifeline. So that's the first thing I would say on Wednesday is, yes, it's great to be able to connect and to be creative and to heal and all these things. But if you find yourself sinking into like some emotional hole, then the way out is to connect spiritually or with other people. I mean, the easiest way to connect for us as human beings is with other people because, you know, they're right in front of us or in front of the screen or whatever it may be. But if you don't have that option, then connecting on a spiritual level works too. So on Wednesday, the intellect gives way to your intuition and you enter this much more emotional and feeling state of being. So that's a good thing if you've got nothing but blue sky above you and things are going well. If you're dealing with something, you know, that something is weighing on you emotionally, it will really meet you on Wednesday here. So you become less interested in ideas and communication, and you feel the need, or you may feel the need to kind of go inward or even to withdraw and isolate yourself. But ultimately it's about resting and recharging, similarly to Sunday at the end of the week. So Wednesday, I don't know, you know, it's different for everyone. How do you recharge your batteries? Sometimes it's nice to be alone. Sometimes it's nice to be around other people. I think on Wednesday, it's a good day to receive encouraging words from another person or to feel supported and seen and heard. I think on Wednesday, particularly if you feel like it's too much and you can barely keep your head above water, that I think the most recharging thing will be being around other people. Yeah. On Thursday, the 28th of September, we've got the Pisces moon forming a conjunction with Neptune in Pisces. So water, water, water. We've got the ruler of Pisces. So now the emotional stuff really opens up. So again, connect with other people to keep you on an even keel. If this is something that really works well for you because you're in a good spot, then painting and making the music and using your intuition and doing the healing work and connecting with other people in an intimate way, all of those things are supported. It opposes Mercury in Virgo, so I'm not so interested again in the details. I'm interested in what I feel. Thank you very much. Sextiles Uranus and Taurus. My feelings are so important because anything is possible, and that's a really encouraging and motivating feeling to have. So of course I'm going to see that as important. It also sextiles Pluto in Capricorn. So it's interesting, it's a different motivator, right? On Monday, Tuesday, you're motivated by what makes sense and you'll take action on that. But on Wednesday, Thursday, you're also motivated by what makes sense, but it doesn't make sense intellectually, it makes sense to you emotionally. And often those things are far more compelling than just facts. So the feeling says, anything is possible, and if I work to make a change happen, it can happen. It also quincunxes Mars in Libra and Venus in Leo. So I want some attention, please. And I want to connect to other people, and I don't want to be a little hermit on an island by myself. The moon enters Aries at 17 minutes past 11 in the evening. So now we're shifting from the last sign of the zodiac, Pisces. Acceptance, the bigger picture. We're going to Aries, which is the smaller picture. Me, my will, what I'm going to do in the next 5 minutes and on this day, and how I can have my dreams come true. What do I want? So we're doing a major shift here. Thursday overall, the watery stuff, your intuition, your creativity, the interest in connecting with other people, all of those are even more heightened than they have been on Wednesday. There may be a strong desire to connect with someone and to ultimately feel seen and heard and understood. And it's weird because I put down here, it feels kind of existential. If I want someone to validate me almost. And if that's the case, in my experience, if you want to feel seen, it's much better to do that on a spiritual level, because the eyes that see you in that situation, they're infinite and eternal. And if you're going to get attention from anything or anybody, I think that's much more validating than one other person. But it really depends on what works for you. I just think that if you find yourself being a little bit needy of someone else's time and attention, then you're able to fulfill that need by yourself by having a spiritual practice. On Friday, the 29th of September, we've got the full moon in Aries at 10:54 in the morning. Okay, so I'll make a separate video on the full moon. A full moon is when the moon is totally illuminated. It opposes the sun. They're 180 degrees away from each other. And for the moon, it's like a completion point in its 28-day cycle. It's kind of like, I've made it, hooray, I can let go of all of this energy. So on Friday, we're going to be showered by Aries energy. And like I said, Aries is a fire sign that's very much about let's go and do it. So the Aries moon then opposes the sun in Libra. So again, the question of me or them, but it's kind of unresolved here. My heart says me, my head says them. The Aries moon conjuncts Chiron in Aries, so it's got kind of support here, because the Aries moon is very independent in the sense that it's like the ram. It's not particularly compromising at all, and Chiron is the wounded healer, so that says to you, listen, other people aren't going to be able to help you, don't trust them. If you want to heal and do well by yourself, it's exactly that, you've got to do it by yourself. So Friday, you have a shift in perspective here, and you really become far less trusting and open towards other people, which is unusual considering the week you've just had. Venus in Leo squares Uranus in Taurus, and that's the final nail in the coffin, so to speak, of me or them. You're going to choose you on Friday. So with that, it's people being stubborn and people being unrelenting and uncompromising. And you can see why there is the potential for conflict here on Friday and the day after Saturday. And it really starts in earnest on Friday, because everyone's just convinced of their own rightness. So on Friday, you leave the realm of the intuitive and become interested in your goals for the future. And then it's like, get out of my way, I'm making plans. One of those goals, which is ironic, one of those goals may continue to be your relationships. So it's like a narcissist saying, how can I become more charitable? It makes no sense. Because, like I just said, it's all about you, but you're like, I'm telling everyone to go away and to leave me alone because I'm thinking about my relationships here. Do you know what I mean? So you're dismissing your relationships for the sake of relationships. So you become conscious of that weirdness. And what you do want in that area of your life becomes really easy for you to determine. So do you want to stay single? Do you want to stay married? Do you want to find someone new? Do you want to maintain a relationship? Do you want to improve a relationship? What is it that you want? It becomes clear through this weird kind of error in the system moment of, look at what I'm actually doing. It's counterproductive. So if you have that moment on Friday, it's kind of like proof that, hang on a minute, Control Alt Delete, start again, reprocess this. The other thing that complicates that, so Friday, you see, it's very complicated, and when things get overly complicated, people become short-tempered and frustrated and irritable, and that's another thing of this, is that everyone's just grinding their teeth a little bit. So you may be somewhat self-sabotaging on top of everything else on Friday, because if you have a tendency to test people, it will really come out on Friday. And Most people don't like being tested, especially by strangers. It's like, who are you to test me? You know, who are you? Saturday the 30th of September, we've got the Aries moon forming a conjunction with Chiron in Aries. So it's really like you're in a bubble here of, I want to heal myself, and the only way I'm going to be able to do that is on my own, so get out of my way. It opposes Mars in Libra. So it's pretty rough. I'm sorry if this... disclaimer. Yeah, disclaimer. Because on Saturday, it's like, do you know what? You can take your compromise and shove it. Not interested. In fact, I'm going to actively work against the compromise to get on your nerves. I'll get a kick out of it. It's really kind of contrary here Saturday. So if you've got anyone who's kind of prickly in your life anyway, or if you're like, you know, thirsting for blood, like just waiting to get revenge on someone, don't. And don't do it on Saturday, because it's really, you're not easy to work with because you're not considerate. We're not considerate on Saturday. Okay, it squares Pluto. I mean, we all have days like that, right? And we need days like that, because if everyone's constantly in your ears, sometimes you have to put your foot down and say, enough already. I've got the plan. But on Saturday, I just think it's misdirected, and I think you can become somewhat mischievous. It trines Venus in Leo, and it quincunxes Mercury in Virgo. So it's that irritating smugness of, I've got your number and I'm going to make sure you know it. No one likes that. Mercury in Virgo trines Uranus in Taurus. In fact, you see, it's the same thing as the other day. If you become obsessed with another person and you start messing with them because you're frustrated, you're missing the point. The point is, you've got this amazing ability to focus and to make anything happen in your life. And that's where the gold is. So it's work and being productive and making sense of things and then taking action based around that. It's not kind of prodding your friend who has irritated you. Mars in Libra quincunxes Uranus in Taurus. So other people can actually help you in this process. So on Saturday, the 30th of September, if you've been accused of being rude or malicious behavior, or you've been called worse, as we all have, and you feel like you have a tendency to behave in a way which isn't particularly helpful, be aware of that. It's just going to come out on Saturday. And if you find yourself as the recipient of that kind of energy, just kind of give the person the benefit of the doubt. I think the reason for it is that everyone feels a little frustrated and overwhelmed. You've set goals, you're trying to fulfill those, and that applies to other people too. But you may be frustrated that others aren't playing ball and they're complicating your life. So instead of then saying, oh, I need to push harder to make this happen, the focus is easily shifted of, it's their fault. I'm going to get them. Look, they ruined this for me. I'm going to take revenge. And that is taking you off target. May feel more satisfying, but revenge isn't helpful, because revenge, ping pong, right? You take revenge, the other person feels entitled to take revenge, and then you're just like playing a game for the rest of your life. It's not good. Yeah, you may feel massively resentful and may overreact, and I would say please beware. And don't point the finger of blame. That's the real ding 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 that you've gone awry somewhere. On Sunday, the 1st of October, we've got the moon going into Taurus at 18 minutes past midnight. So Taurus is much calmer. It's still controlling in a sense and pushy and rigid, but it's also able to enjoy the beautiful things in the world and nature and sensuality, excuse me, and money. So the Taurus moon immediately puts you on a much more solid footing. It conjuncts Jupiter in Taurus. So now I live in the real world. I'm interested in my body. I'm interested in my roof. I'm interested in the pillow that I put my head on at night. I'm interested in my circumstances. So if you want to do any house design or upkeep or landscape, do the garden, make it pretty, all of that stuff on Sunday is supported. Even, why am I getting this? If you want to do your hair on Sunday, that's supported apparently. Yeah. Taurus, if Taurus, I would say, would make good hairstylists. Because it's something physical and creativity is involved in order to create perfection, totally. And taking control of that to make it look good. It sextiles Saturn in Pisces and quincunxes the Sun in Libra. So now it's like I can get back on the same page with other people. I don't feel this horrible friction between us. We can actually hang out and have a good time. Mars in Libra, quincunxes Uranus and Taurus. Other people are useful to my cause. So it's not just that you're suddenly feeling super magnanimous and where you were like digging at someone on Friday. Now you're like, oh, I'm so sweet. I would never say anything horrible to anybody. No, it's because you have a vested interest. It's like good ideas come from other people, so I may want to be nice to them. Okay. Wow, so the end of the week really is somewhat problematic in terms of behavior. And I've had difficult relationships. This is something I can certainly identify with. And it's really like when you start messing with people like that, in my experience, it's because you're not happy with yourself or something is frustrating. So you're never going to change anybody else. You're never going to educate them. You're never going to, there's no point. The only thing that's going to satisfy this week particularly is keeping your eye on the ball and saying, I'm going to make this happen regardless of whether that person's getting on my nerves or not. Okay. On Sunday, the 1st of October as well, we've got Mars in Libra, quincunxing Uranus. Oh yeah, I've mentioned that. So good ideas come by other people. But Sunday is another interesting mix here, okay? So you've got the need for comfort and you want to be quiet and peaceful. And it is a good day to do that. It's a good day to unwind and to dream and to get back to a sense of self and to do the little things that you enjoy doing, to potter around a little bit and to reconnect with yourself if you felt detached. But another disclaimer, if there's an obligation that you don't want to like be a part of, like you made someone a promise, yes, I'll show up to the lunch, and you really don't want to go on Sunday, this is something where you have to make a decision, right? Because for a lot of people, breaking a promise is the worst thing ever. They said they were coming to lunch and then they canceled last minute. That's the end of our friendship. Some people will react like that, right? Other people won't. Other people will say, oh, well, something came up and they can't make it this week. We'll meet up next week. So I'm not telling you what to do here, as I never would assume to do. But what I've said on this day, particularly with all the energies, if you're in a spot where, oh, I really have to go to this lunch, right? And I really don't want to do it. You've got two options. You can either go and be miserable all day and be like, oh, I don't want to be here. Or you can cancel. And I would say that on Sunday, the 1st of October, if there's anything where you really don't want to be doing it, if you have any kind of choice, if you can get out of it, you'll be doing yourself a favor. Because there's just, your personal life and your own feelings are just so much a priority to you on Sunday to get back on track, that anything like that, it will feel like a betrayal of the self, and that's something that you don't tolerate very easily this weekend. So you see, the weekend isn't that easy. The working week is super productive, especially the beginning, but the weekend there's the real potential for friction and conflict. And there's no real point to it. It's just a distraction that prevents you from using the real gift that you've got, which is this analysis and ability to take very, very specific and informed action. Okay, so that's what I get for you this week. I hope that gives you an idea of what you'll be working with. If you would like a personal reading with me, please get in touch via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. On the front page, scroll down a bit until you get to the button that says book your reading. Click on that to order your reading with me. In my personal readings, I use astrology. I combine it with the tarot, numerology, and my intuition. If you have any questions about your life purpose, your relationships, travel, income, love, children, family, work, daily routine, anything at all, please do get in touch with me for a personal reading. To draw up your birth chart, I need your place of birth, date of birth, and time of birth. If you don't have the time of birth, then order a chart rectification with me, please. That's a process where you send me 10 or more significant life events and I work out your exact time of birth, which is important to get an accurate snapshot of the sky at the moment you were born, your natal chart. I also look at the progress chart and the transits to see what's coming up in future. And the astrocartography, if there's any question around specific locations, like should I live in Berlin or in Cape Town or in San Diego? If you have any questions at all, please do get in touch with me for a personal reading. Oh, and a big thank you to everyone who's become a member of my channel. I really, really appreciate it. I do these weekly horoscopes and the videos on the new moons and the full moons, the eclipses. But I also do a daily tarot reading, and the daily tarot reading is now available to members of the channel. So thank you guys so much for becoming members. I'm so thrilled. Thank you so much. I appreciate the support. What else? If you like this video, then give it a thumbs up, please. Hit subscribe, share the video online so other people can see it. Check out the other video. I'm just going to film the full moon in Aries video now. I'll do that in a second. So if you want some more information on that, check out that. I'll analyze the entire chart and go into a lot of detail. So I hope you have a fabulous week, and I will speak to you next week. All the best. Take care.